Hi guys! So in today's video I have here a commission I did for a girl whose dog recently passed away. This was commissioned by a friend of hers actually who wanted to give her something to remember the dog by. So this was a traditional watercolor piece done on Fabriano. It was like 25% cotton paper, and the texture is pretty nice. It's not too rough, so I was able to use my dip pens with it. And I don't know about you, but I find line art, those smooth strokes, to be really satisfying. So here I was being really careful because this area needed to be done precisely. This is like I wanted a light to be shining down on top of them, so I had to be really careful to leave that white space in the exact area that I wanted it, and like a little white highlight on her nose as well, because as soon as you paint it you can't go back to the white of the paper. So I was being really careful with that, and I just, after I outlined that, I just filled in the rest of the skin tone. And here I'm just like putting down a light blue for the shirt. The shirt isn't blue, but white shirts and stuff aren't like ever stark white, and it would be kind of boring if you left it stark white. So I wanted to use a colorful shadow, so I used the light blue instead. And here I'm going over the skin again with a second wash of the skin tone. I noticed that this paper, the Fabriano 25% cotton paper, I think it's Fabriano Studio paper, it's really thirsty, and it kind of like sucks in the color. Like it displays color well, but it also sucks in the color, so you have to put down a few layers to get it to be really vibrant. And here I'm putting in the yellow in the background because I wanted, again, like warmth in the piece, and I'm softening the edge with a damp brush.
Oh, that is right.
Here I was surprised by my paints. Like, I've had these for a while, but sometimes when I dip into the pans, they still surprise me, like how bright and vibrant they are. But I was just using vermilion and some blue, I can't remember which blue that is, to make a deeper purple to um, finish her hair. So for the dog was a very light sandy color. So I mixed Magello's yellow ochre with a bit of, oh gosh, Grams burnt sienna to tone it down a bit. And I sheared it out, like a very sheer wash, to give the dog its first layer of color. And then went back in again with another layer of the skin tone. You can see here it's really starting to deepen, and I was getting happy with the level that it was at. And then deepening up the dog's fur. And the dog had some like gray patches. I don't know if it's from the age of the dog, because she's pretty old, or if she always had those little gray patches, but I thought that would be a nice touch to add. So here, this part really, so this part really threw me for a loop. The girl was wearing a yellow pants, like a really bright yellow in the reference picture that I got. But then because I was using yellow in the background, I didn't want to have like yellow again on the piece. So I was swatching like this really vibrant green and then permanent yellow to see which one I liked best. And after I did like a little dot test, and then I just got a damp brush and like wiped them up, and then scrubbed it out with some water and dabbed it away with a microfiber cloth. So paper was pretty good handling with the lifting. So here I'm adding in like the first layer of blush, and this is where things really started to kind of go downhill for me. I had like 3 nice layers built up for the skin, and because of my impatience, don't be impatient people with watercolor, it will bite you in the butt. I ended up lifting a part of her cheek, and you're gonna see that soon. So because I didn't wait for like the layers to dry properly, I ended up getting some strange blooming going on like on her cheek. And again, instead of being patient and waiting for it to dry, I went and kept trying to like go over it. You can see there where the first like patch starts to come up. And also water control. Water control is something I'm still learning, like how much water you should have in your brush for a given thing. Like that can seriously play a huge role in how your colors lay down. And I'm still learning. As you can see here, the red is beginning to like bloom, and it was just a mess. And I was so upset because the face is like the most important part, and it was doing all this weird stuff. I was like, no. Okay, so here I lay down the base color for the pants. I went with that vibrant green. As I waited for the cheek to dry, just look at it. It's so but don't worry, it gets better. And I really like how this green ended up popping in the final image. Oh, here I'm checking to make sure the paper is dry this time and strengthening that blush color again. I was being very careful here, trying to use a really light hand so I don't lift the color and lift the skin tone underneath. Just adding in some more color to the dog's fur, just in like select areas where the brown was the most saturated. Her back was kind of light. And now finally, this is where I fixed the face. I added in some shadow, and that kind of took care of that white patch under her cheek. And then adding some shadow to the pants. So I mixed that bright green with like, I think Viridian, and it made for a really nice shadow. Just washed out the brush, dabbed it so it didn't have so much water in it, and then swipe along the edge to kind of blur the edge so it wouldn't be such a harsh shadow. added that same purple to the pants just to really deepen the shadows. I was really happy I did that step because I have a problem with not having enough contrast in my pieces, and it tends to make things look pretty flat. So adding a bit more detail to the face, not too much because it is a chibi, but I had put in some shadow around the eyes and I found that made it pop. So I was just doing the same thing on the other side. So I removed the masking fluid and now I'm painting in the little flowers. The original pants had like these little pink flowers on it, so I wanted to keep that even though I changed the color. So I'm just adding the little details in the pants. Unfortunately, I lost the footage of me painting in the stems, but I did that and then I added some white highlights and the piece was done. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed this little video. I'll see you next time.